Welcome in, everybody. Ty Bartell with Connor Capece of formerly the Mahoning Valley Scrappers and a future Cretan commit joining me. Connor, how we doing today?
Doing great. I'm on vacation right now up in South Dakota. I'm having a blast.
Over near Omaha, Nebraska, too. I know is where you reside from, so not too far of a road trip from there. Connor, what I really like to do with all these interviews, related and sports wise, I always like to go back to the very first step. And for you, this baseball career that has been already pretty fun and illustrious and has a great future to it. I kind of want to know where that first chapter started for you. Where did you first find yourself loving this game, and what are some of your earliest memories in the sport of baseball?
I played when I was pretty young. My dad coached me I have a brother that's a year older than me. I always played up with him. My dad coached me all throughout grade school and then into junior high. And I finished with him when I was in seventh grade and then had to go play another year for a different team, which was really the first time that I didn't play for my dad or with any of my really good friends, I would say. So that was something that really made me appreciate the game more, make new friendships, meet new people, and really get to know who I was as a baseball player when I'm not around my closest friends and family.
Is there a specific game or maybe a moment in that early career that sticks out to you that maybe helped fuel that love and the desire to continue in the sport?
Yeah, so my sixth grade year and seventh grade year, we were state runner ups in Nebraska. And then we were so close. And then my 14U year, we won. And that really was one memory that will always stick with me because that was my last year with my brother, besides high school, and my dad coaching me. And that was really something that's stuck with me my whole entire career.
I always find it intriguing the people that have gotten the opportunity to be coached by their fathers because there's a dynamic that you kind of have to
Mhm.
play on too, as being both a player and a son, as well as he does as a father and a coach. Talk a little bit about that dynamic. How was that like having him as a coach on the ball field, but having him as a dad at home too? What are some of the biggest takeaways you learned from his coaching, and maybe some different takeaways you learned from his parenting style?
Really, just how hard he was on me because he knew my potential, that he really honed in on me to really get me to where I was and where I am today. He made my mindset better. He always pushed me to be my best and always pushed me to be who I was as a person outside of the field and on it as well, but really be myself.
And he helped you take all the way up to seventh and eighth grade, like you said, too. So all the way through your middle school years. But then that transition to high school is really when the eyes start to get more on you, and the pressure starts to heighten to a will you play college ball? Will you continue to have years after the high school career is over? Talk to me about the nerves going into the high school maybe realm that you had and some of the things you were thinking back then, and maybe that now that you're looking back at it now, maybe you thought, maybe I was thinking silly then, or maybe you had some good thoughts. What were your thoughts going back into thinking back going into high school?
Going into high school, there was a lot of people that put pressure on me to go to a bigger school. I played at a school of about 400 kids, a lower class, and there was a lot of people that told me to go here, wanted me to go here, really didn't think I belonged where I belonged in a lower class, and they really wanted to see if I was that good playing in a higher class. But my high school really felt like home to me, and the people around me that really pushed me to be who I was. And my brother went to my high school too, and we had a really core, good group of guys. And we made it to state my junior year for the first time in 10 years, which was huge. It really brought the school together. And then my senior year, we had another good group of guys, and we really took that to the next level, and we were state semifinalists.
See, all my brothers were 10 plus years older than me, so I
Hmm.
never got that opportunity to play on a ball field with them. What was that like being able to play with your brother? And I know some athletes that are siblings that play the same sport. They talk about like the look too, and how you can have just
Yeah.
those vibes on the field. Can you kind of break that down for me? What's that like? What is this look that people are talking about?
Oh, it's great. He was a pitcher and a first baseman, and obviously me as a catcher, we just had a feeling for each other that we knew what we wanted to throw, or we knew we wanted to backpick this guy at first base. Like we had it down to where We didn't even have to look at each other, say anything to each other. We just knew what was going to go on.
You talk about the dynamic of being a catcher too. I feel like that's one of the most overlooked positions, and you kind of get the bathroom analogy, right? If everything's going right, no one's talking about it, but if there's problems there, everyone's talking about it, right? So when you talk
Yep.
about being a catcher, but you also have experience a little bit pitching, like you said too,
Yep.
on the mound. So what is that dynamic of seeing both sides of the field too? Did your experience as a catcher kind of help you in a pitcher, or vice versa, being able to play both positions?
I think it was both ways. Me as a catcher, I'm able to notice what a hitter's doing, what's his weakness, how he's opening up his stance, what to throw. That really helped me as a pitcher to know, okay, I can help my other catchers out and really see what this guy's doing, what's his weakness. And then obviously executing it as a pitcher made it easier for me to do what I needed to do.
See, we cover a lot of high school kids too at ysnlive.com. So we always are getting the high school kids that are talking about their experiences learning in the sport too, trying to get better, trying to get to the level where you see yourself now. So in
Mhm.
saying this and trying to help them give them some advice, but also giving yourself some advice, look back in the time machine. What would you yourself now tell maybe freshman year Connor Capece about just the game developing himself too, and maybe just a bit of advice that would help yourself out back in freshman year?
If you really want to get to the point of playing college baseball, you can't let anybody outwork you. You have to go in unseen, untold, and go get your work done. You got to hit, you got to work on your body, you got to work on your arm. I mean, there's a lot of good players in the country, and if you want to be where you see yourself, you really have to work harder than anybody else.
Going into the college ranks is always exciting, and I believe it's something like less than 7% of athletes in the high school realm even make it to the college realm. So that's a rarity and a rare feat in of itself. College decision too, and let's talk about that college decision. And I know that it's a Herald school out there in Nebraska as well, so it's a pretty
Yep.
big one when you made that decision. But when you go through all the colleges that you could have gone to, and the one you decided to ultimately go to, I guess you're not breaking news with Creighton. We already said it, but when you talk about just picking the colleges too, what was it about them that most drew you to them and said, "This is where I want to make my home for the next 4 years"?
So there was a lot of bigger schools that wanted me to pitch only, and that was something I wasn't willing to do at that time. I really wanted to be a two-way player, be able to hit, and Creighton was one of my two offers that really made that evident to me that I'd get that opportunity to do that, and I really took advantage of that.
So going from high school senior to being able to say that you're now going to be in the college realms. Let's talk about though the stop now at the Mahoning Valley Scrappers, because I feel like this is always a cool draft league
Yeah.
experience talking to these guys that have been able to experience the last few years. Firsthand experience, what was it like for you to be able to play for the Mahoning Valley Scrappers and see levels of competition from all over the world essentially inside that 6-team draft league this year?
It was a phenomenal experience. I mean, it's something that I've never done before. Like, I've played with kids older than me, but I've never played with kids that are 3, 4, 5 years older than me, have that college experience already, and I was coming in as a high schooler, and just to be able to gain knowledge from all those guys, what they've seen, what they've heard from their coaches, from them, just what they've experienced, they really helped me get that college experience without being in college and get all that knowledge that they've gained and given to me.
What was some of, I guess, the best advice, or maybe just a big takeaway that you got from the management team over at the Mahoning Valley Scrappers, or even just some of the older players like you were referencing?
That baseball is a game of failure. You got to move on to the next day. The next day is a new one. And it's really just, you got to wash your mind clean from the day before. If you struggled or if you went 4 for 4, it's a new day and anything can happen.
Take me into the locker room and what it's like to be coached under Dimitri Young too, and have that kind of former major league ball player have that experience at the management level too. What was it like being coached and managed by him?
He was a great coach, but an even better person. He really wanted the best for what you wanted to do. He was supportive of all your decisions. He really wanted the best for you, like I said.
you look at your time at the Mahoning Valley Scrappers. I mean, you talked about it being a good experience, but I mean, you had a great job on the field as well, enough to make yourself into that prospects game. What was that like? What kind of honor was that to be told that you were going to make it to that prospects game and you were going to get spotlighted by some really major league scouts and some really big time eyes to look at you right now at a young age before you even go through your college ranks?
It was unreal for me, a little small town Nebraska kid, to be able to do that was really something eye opening for everybody at home and everybody out there. Just to be around all those guys who were college All Americans playing at Power Five universities. To be able to play side by side with them was something that I never expected to be able to do.
When you talk, I mean, I can already tell that you're a student of the game, and I know you've had experience watching the game a long time as well as playing it. So in saying that, what's your favorite major league team and what's your favorite major league player that you kind of took inspiration from?
My favorite team is the New York Yankees, and this is a little
You,
contradicting, but my favorite player is Martin Maldonado.
you might be getting a little bit of booze from both sides for
Yeah,
that too. But
yeah.
what was it about the Yankees that kind of drew you to them at a younger age?
My family or my extended family's from New York, and my dad's always been a pretty big fan of them, and he took a little influence on me to support them and be around them.
Kind of experience all the history too. I always love just the history of the Yankees too, and that old Yankee Stadium too. I think just was so heralded in history. I think it's amazing too. Looking
Yeah,
at that, when you look at your future career now too, and just we talked about how bright it is, man. Like you got a bright future ahead of you, and I mean. In the sport of baseball, I got to feel like it's going to be pretty prominent in your life for the next few years. Just talk to me growth development wise, what you're looking to improve on in the game, what you're looking to improve on as in your character as well going forward in your career.
really get stronger my first year at Creighton. If I play, I play. If I don't, I don't. I go work. I'll have my opportunity sophomore, junior year, and hopefully by junior year, I'll be able to be drafted in the first couple rounds and really just take off from there and go see what I can do.
When we look at some of the future prospect games too, I'm always looking for your name too. I'm going to be looking for
Yep.
your name as well in the college ranks, no doubt. Let's talk about just giving thanks to some of the people that have helped get you to where you are right now. This is the portion of the interview where I just kind of put the spotlight on you and let you put the spotlight on whoever else you want to that helped Connor Capece get to where he is right now in his career.
Definitely my family. My dad was a huge part of all my baseball growing up, and even my mom being there to support, and my other siblings just being there for me and supporting my dream. And then my trainer played a huge part in where I am today. I was I didn't get recruited early because of my body, and he really helped me change that to a whole different level and really be Division 1 athlete ready. And then another one to my catching coach, Tyler Goodrow. He had a bunch of connections, helped me get to where I am today, catching wise. He worked with me, hit with me. He was just a huge influence, and all those guys were in my baseball career so far.
Well, Connor, we thank you so much for the time that you've given us to get a little bit of an interview, a little bit of a player profile for you. We're so excited for your future, and we're definitely going to be looking for your name to pop up in the baseball realm once again. This has been a player profile with former Mahoning Valley Scrapper, Connor Capece.
Thank you.